plyo test. On your scorecard, there's a plyo test. I need to know how high you can jump, okay? So we're gonna do this in a very simple way. You're gonna find a place in your town where you have access to a high wall. So like this is high enough. It's very simple. What you're gonna do is you are going to measure your height as high as you can there, and then make a mark. And then you're gonna jump as high as you can, and we're gonna measure the distance in between. What you're gonna need: a cup, some water, and a tape measure. So what we're gonna do, you're gonna find some dirt and put it in there, and just gonna put some mud. Get some water, make it all muddy. I put too much water. There we go. So we're gonna use that dirt so that you can mark the wall. It's nasty, but that's the best way to do it. Some people use a tape, but the problem is if you put a piece of tape on your hand, a lot of time when you're gonna be jumping, the tape's gonna stay on your hand and you're not gonna be able to mark where you're at. So the mud is the best way to do it, in my opinion. You can use whatever you want, but what's important here is that you find a way to mark how high you're gonna be able to jump. There's more than one way to do it. I recommend the mud because it's easy, it goes everywhere. Some people actually use chalk. If you are close to a gym and you have access to that, just put that on your finger. You just mark your height on top, and then you jump as high as you can, and then you make another mark and you just measure the distance between the two marks. So chalk is good. If the reason why I recommended mud is because you have access to it from everywhere. You just go find a wall somewhere, just put some water, put some mud, and that's gonna leave a great mark on there. There are people out there that use like tape, you know, they just roll a piece of tape like that, and they just stick this to their finger and they just end up jumping and stick it to the wall. But just like I just showed you here, there's a lot of time where the tape does not stick to the wall, it stays on your hand. So now it's not effective at all. So just get dirty, get some mud, make sure you bring a towel so you can clean your hand, and you'll be able to mark your distance. You just take a tape measure, you measure how high you've jumped, mission accomplished. What we're gonna do as a test, you're gonna put a little bit of mud on your finger, just like that. Nasty, but that's what you're gonna do. And you're gonna measure your height. See, there's a mark on the wall there. So that's as high as my hand goes. Then you're gonna put some more mud. You're gonna warm up, okay? And you're gonna jump as high as you can. Then did you see the mark I made over there? So now that's very simple. We're going to measure the two distances. So in that case, take your tape measure, get some soap, and measure the distance from the top of the mark all the way down to where you're at. So if this were to be a real test for me, I've got 23 inches. You're gonna do this as many times as you can. Like do it 10 times if you want to try to beat your record. The result that you're gonna put in a scorecard has to be your absolute best. So if I were to do the same thing over and over, it'll come a point where I'm not going to be able to beat myself anymore. Go as the highest mark that you find all the way until your initial mark, and that will be your score. Write down the inches, be precise about it, and then put the result in. You're going to be doing this every 6 months to a year depending on your races and depending on how you progress. So it's very important that you give me an accurate test here.